Senseis Brian, Candice and Marcella. This 5-minute video shows you how to use the Dues module in the Mars software so that when the dojo reopens again, if you wish to do so, you can record dues directly into the computer, and a dues report can then become part of the reports pulled off every month. The first change in the Mars software is the mouse. A couple of clicks and we are in the system. Now, because I'm using the same data to make other videos, I'm trying to sell my software. I made some changes here. In the parameters, I've changed the hours that we use in our dojo and replaced them with dummy hours, 10, 20, 30, 40 and so on. These are the ranking structures for Aikido and I've left these intact. I don't think anyone cares about that. For students, all first names have been reduced to first initials, and all personal data like address and phone and so on has been reduced to the number 9. All emails have been changed and so on. The rank history of course remains the same. Again, I don't think anyone cares about that. So let's look at the dues module. Before you can plug in a dues received from a student, you have to be able to identify the reason for the dues received. And that's where these dues descriptions come in. You have to define a whole bunch of dues descriptions into the system first, so that when a dues is received, it can be tied into a specific description. So here you have the dues descriptions module to add, edit, delete and list them. The system has already done the bulk of the work for you. You already have a whole bunch of dues descriptions in the system. The January through December monthly dues descriptions are in the system. The various test fee dues descriptors, like the test fee for the 6th Q, the 5th Q, the 4th Q, I'm doing a page down, and so on. These are already in the system, and these ranking structures are obviously picked up from the option A parameters list. So, at most, you are allowed to add, edit, and delete only user-defined dues descriptions. So let's add a user-defined dues description. I pick up, let's say, a fresh code. 1 through 27 are reserved. Sensei Maruyama seminar, for example, and 29 and so on, and let's say 30 whatever. You can these are only the user defined codes can be edited and deleted. Now when you list them out, the user defined descriptions are right in the system. So having put in some dues descriptions, remember the bulk of them are plugged in for you. You just put in the user defined ones. You can now plug in some dues received. Let's say from me, today I put on $100 for the year 2020. The moment I accept this, it pulls off the pick list. For what reason? I'm just doing a page up, page down. Let's say it's for my Nidan test fee. Accepted. Let's add one from Scott Andrews. Scott Andrews put down $50 for the year 2020 and he put it towards an upcoming Sensei Maruyama seminar. Accepted. If you now list out the payments, remember we are now in the dues received module. These are my dues received so far. I have some dummy entries for 2019. Obviously dummy data, we are not that inexpensive. And here's my entry for 2020, $100 paid towards the Nidan test fee. Pull off some records from Mr. Andrews. He has some entries for 2019 and for 2020. The latest ones come on top, so 2020 dues will show up before the 2019 dues paid and so on. Now within the year, they come out in a sequence of these codes. So automatically for a student for the same year, the monthly dues payments will show up ahead of the test fee dues payments made, if any, and they will show up ahead of the user defined dues paid. And there we have it. You put in dues descriptions. Again, you only put in the user defined ones. The bulk of them are in the system. You plugged in some dues receipt, pull up some reports. It defaults to this year, to the screen. These are Scott Andrews payments, his subtotal, the number of days and hours he's put into the dojo so far for the year 2020. My payment made for 2020, my subtotal, number of hours, days and hours plugged in so far. Now look at these guys. They've made no payment, but they kick out in the report. And that's because the report shows any dues paid. Obviously it's a dues report, but more importantly, those who have paid nothing but have put in 8 or more MAT days of attendance. In our option A parameters, we have said that the number of tryout days, the freebie days, are 7. If you come in for 8 or more days, we expect payment. So the dues report reflects that. These guys made no payments, but they came in for 8 or more MAT days for the year 2020. At the end of the report, you will see a string of email addresses for those who have made no payment but have put in more than the allowed freebie days. If you send this report to a text file, you can copy and paste this into a bulk email. For example, let's pull out the report for 2019. This time we'll send it into a file. The file has been created. I can now word process that file, full screen mode if you wish. You can now page up and page down because this is a text file. And at the end of the file, once again, is the list of email addresses which you can now copy and paste and send them a bulk email. Again, these addresses are only for the guys who made no payment but put in 8 or more MAT days. And it's as simple as that. That's your dues module. You must plug in dues descriptions first. The bulk of them go in automatically. Then you plug in dues received and you pull up reports. I hope you've enjoyed this demo, and we hope that the dojo can open up soon. Take care. Bye.